Hello and welcome back to another Thunderous Productions tutorial. I'm your host Jag Thunder and this is Minecraft. In this tutorial I'll be teaching you how to build a ship in Minecraft. Now I can't cover all the different shapes and sizes of all the boats that can be made, but I'm just going to cover the most popular one, a pirate ship. A lot of the techniques, however, that I show you in this tutorial can be applied to using other boats. So let's fly up here and take a look at what we're going to build. Now, as you can see here, this is a pretty simple design and pretty basic, but it still looks pretty good, and it's far from finished. I just pretty much laid this out in a rough design just so you get a good idea of what we're going to build. The most important part here is going to be the framing, because that's going to be the whole structure for your boat. So anyways, this is what it looks like, and like I said, you can trim it out however you want and use different materials than what I've used. And again, once I said this is not complete. This is just for the tutorial sake. So I've got a lot to cover, so let's jump on in here and get started. And this here is the main structure of your ship. This is the most important part. If you don't get this right, basically your ship is going to look like shit. So make sure you take a lot of time and lay the framework out properly to get your height and width and everything else. It's basically comprised of a lot of squares and a lot of simple circles, and I'll also provide some links in the description on the circles that I've used and some other circles that you can use to basically customize the shape and the size of your own ship. That's a lot of S's, but anyways, let's dive in here for a minute and we'll take a look at what I have. The main structure consists of 21s for the framing and the hull, and then just a basic 7 by 60, I believe, is the main deck there on the bottom. And I'll fly in here closer and I'll show you exactly how to lay it out. Alright, as you can see here, I've got 7 blocks wide, and this is 60 blocks long. And every 5 blocks I put a main beam, and then these cross sections here is where each floor is going to be. Like I said, you don't have to exactly follow this. You can do it one deck lower or one deck taller, but if you want to build this over here, which that's what we're going to use for the tutorial, this is what it has to look like. And the reason why I do this, I always do 3 blocks high and then a floor. That way it feels like you've got enough room. A lot of people just start by putting the rib end on the bottom and then just building up the sides, and to me that just doesn't feel like there's enough room for cargo space and to walk around and make different rooms. So anyways, that's why I lay this out the way I do here. But anyways, every 5th block is where I put those, and all the way down here, 60 blocks down, is where I put the last one. And then right off the front, I count out 1, 2, 3 more blocks, and then I've got 5 wide and then 2 rows of 7 wide, and that's your base structure. And we'll build this here in just a second. I just want to show you everything that I used. Let me turn this damn rain off and we'll continue. Seems like every time I fucking do a tutorial it's got a damn rain. Anyways, this design here I come up with myself, and like I said, it's not the way a lot of people do it maybe, but this is the easiest way that I've found out to do it. And you use circles all the way up, and like I said, I'll go over each one of these here in just a little bit, and then the main structure on top, all you're doing is you're just covering that up. So let's walk over here, fly over here, whatever we're going to do, and we're going to start building this fucker. Now, there's a couple ways that you can do this. First, find out where you're going to put it. If it's going to be out a little bit, you're going to have to set some blocks down here in the ocean and build up to the surface. That's the easiest way that I found out to do this. For the other structure over here, this is actually sitting on top of the water. The one in the back I actually sat down. So depending on how you want to do this right now, is where you're going to set your first blocks. Again, for this tutorial, I'm going to build it on top of the surface. This one back here, I think I built it down maybe 3. So you just start down here, 3, and then 3 more this way, and then start building your structure across. But like I said, for the sake of the tutorial, to make this just a little bit easier so you can see everything, we're going to build it on the surface. So we've got 3 this way and 3 this way, and then we're going to build it 60 long, and I'll be back right after that. So this is what you should have. Every 5 blocks I put a piece of glowstone just so I know where the ribs go, and then I added 2 more blocks on the front, 1, 2, and then a 3rd row with just 5 blocks by itself. So that's what you should have. Alright, for this tutorial I used a 25. I think I said a 21 earlier, but it's a 25 is what I used for the ribs. and it's a really simple circle. You've got seven blocks down the side, 2, and then 2 this way, and then 2 this way, and it just repeats all the way around. And then if you continued it, it would make a circle. But anyways, we just cut the top part off, and that's what we're using for the ribs of the ship. So anyways, if that makes any sense, we're going to go over here and we're actually going to build some. Alright, so start the first piece of glowstone and lay your first 2 blocks just above the base. And then just go ahead and just build the pattern. It's real simple. Put 2 on top, and then do your diagonal ones. Something like this. Not like that. Like this. And then do your 2 vertical ones. And then the pattern continues with 7 blocks, but for the ship I used 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now let's build the other side. So that's what you should have. After you build that one, just continue to the next piece of glowstone and build them all the way to the end. And once again, that's what you should fucking have. Now all you gotta do is just connect the tops and just make a big rectangle on top. Let's do it. Pretty damn simple so far. So now we're going to build the top section. So let's go take a look at this. Basically all I do is I come in 1, 2, 3 to the 4th rib, and I count up on the back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I come back 2 ribs, and I count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I come back to the back rib here, and I count up 11, and we square the tops of them off. Just like that. So we're going to build this one here, and then we're going to build the bottom piece. So let's come back here, and I will build it. Like I said, I'm doing this for time's sake, because this is going to be a long tutorial if I don't just keep stopping the video. And this is what you should have after that. Here's the 2 structures on top now, and all I did was throw a little block here so I know where the center is, and same thing in the back. And then went ahead and finished out the ribs. Now we're going to build this little back part. All this is 4 blocks, 2 blocks this way, 2 blocks that way. It's the same on the other side, and then connect the middle. And then I just put center blocks here, just so I know where the center's at. And then right down here where the main deck goes across is the same pattern. 4, 2, 2, all the way across, 2, 2, and then 4 back in. So let's build that. And that's what you should have there. Now let's build the front. The front, I drop just a little bit lower, and I go 1, 2, 3 here, and skip a rib, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then skip 3 ribs, or oops, 2 ribs, and then on the front one, again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's build this piece. And that's what we should have so far. And the pattern is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. It's the same thing. This is just a little bit higher, and then it's got the round piece on the back. The front piece, which is way up here, the circle pattern here is a 25, and then all I did was just add the front of the boat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blocks out. And like I said, that's critical for this pattern to work out. All it is just a staircase pattern all the way up. That's why it ends up being 14 blocks. So we're going to build this piece out here, 14 blocks, and then connect it. And then we're going to put a radius 25 on the outside here. So now this is what you should have. The only thing I did was went ahead and put in the mast locations, and these can be adjusted later, but just for right now I went 5 blocks right down the center line inside this big square here, and then build up a mast. And then the center one is 1 beam behind this front structure, and of course centered, and then I just threw that up. And then the back two, this one is centered, and then this one here is centered 3 blocks back off of this here. And is what we're going to do next is we're just going to skin it over so we can stop looking at all these ribs. Basically we're just going to fill in all the empty spots. So here is going to get filled in solid. And at this point, like, you can use any material that you want. You can continue using the planks, or you can use something, you know, like a wood or a birch or whatever, or you can skin right on the outside instead of inside here. At this point you can kind of customize it, but if you're following the tutorial, we're going to use these. So let's go ahead and skin all these, the top deck, all these small ones here, and the top decks here and here, and I'll be right back. At this point, this is what you should have. I went ahead and skinned the rest of the boat out, the sides, all the way underneath, and I did the back. And this part here, all you're going to do is just make walls straight down, and I'll show you that here after we get done. It's just a square. You just fill that in. I just left it open so you can see what I had. And then up on the deck, I found the center line here, which actually no, I fucking didn't. It's right here, and that's where your front cabin door is going to go. And then I made this floor filled in, and then I did the same thing in the back, but I didn't fill it in. All you're doing is just doing this right here, and that'll be the main cabin area back here. So is what you have down here. This is the main hull, and I went ahead and lit it up, and that's what you got. Now we're going to move on to the tricky part, the front. This next part that I'm going to show you is the bow of the boat. This is probably the most complicated part of the build, and I also believe this is probably why most people fail at building a ship, because there's no set pattern, and they have a good design but it can't be recreated because they can't remember how the fuck they did it. So I've come up with a system that will show you basically how to recreate this over and over again. As you see, we've already built, or in the process of building 3 of them, and I've used the same design for all 3 of them. So this will help you recreate it. So let's go down here and take a look, and I'll try to break this down step by step and making it as easy as possible. The first thing you want to do is lay out the shape of the nose, and the easiest design is just to do a straight diagonal piece like this. You can get fancy and go 2 out, 2 up, 2 up, 2 out, and all that, all the way up to the nose, or the bridge of the boat here, but that makes it much more complicated and harder to follow. For starting out, I would just recommend just doing a pattern just like this right here, and this is 20 blocks from here all the way up, and this will also determine where the front of this radius piece will go. So if you've already laid this out following this tutorial, it's already in the right spot. But if you're using a different size, and you don't have this in, or you don't know where this goes, it will be determined from the height of your ship by starting right here and going diagonal, and where this ends, that's where the front of the radius will go. Now we remember building the ship, it was 7 blocks wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to be our first radius. Now I've got some circles over here set up, so let's go take a look at those first. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take each one of these circles and basically start from the center points. These top pieces won't be here, and we're going to lay them down on the ship one at a time, building upwards, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And there'll also be links in the description to each one of these designs. But we'll use a 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, and there's the 25. That's what we built the main structure of the ship out of. And we're going to fly back over here to the main structure ship, and I'm going to show you how these are laid out. Alright, so depending on what size radius that you started with down here, or the width of the ship rather, remember ours is a 7, we just counted that out. So we're not going to actually use the 7, we're going to use a radius of 9, and the reason being is because we're going on the outside of the ship. So you're adding 2 blocks to the width of the base of the ship. So you're going 7, 8, 9. So that's going to give you your first radius of 9. And the next one is going to go to 13. And the reason being is because if this is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now the 11 doesn't actually continue around. Anytime you go out, you will not go up. Anytime you go up, you need to go up. So that kind of is the confusing part, but I'm going to show you out here what I do with that. The reason being is because if you try to go up, you're going to run out of blocks and you're not going to have enough. So what you do each time you go out, for each layer, you're going to add a block, and you'll do that on the outside, and that's just for trim. So the first one that goes out and not up, you add a block. The next one that goes out and not up, you'll add 4 blocks. And that should pretty much take care of the outside of trimming this out, so you don't have to throw blocks all in here and, you know, try to make it look rounded. So anyways, let's go back over here and we'll take another look again. And I'm sorry I'm jumping around a little bit this morning. Anyways, we'll go 9, 13, 17, 19, 21, 23, and then a 25. Once we reach 25, we know that's the width of our ship, and that will also bring us to this point right here. And from this point up, we know it's straight. So every block going up, or every radius rather, is going to be a 25. Now when you set your circles up, this is going to be your center point, but as you move up, this center point is moving outward like this. So you imagine the center block moving out like this until you reach this point right here, which is your center block for the 25. So that's kind of the only really confusing part about this, but you'll see as we build this how to do it. Alright, so the first radius is 9. This is your center block here, and if you look at the pattern, it's 5 on each side. So you're going out 2 on each side, and there's actually showing a block here, but you don't need it, or unless you use it to set the next block out this way, and then you can take it out. The next one, there's a block here. You don't need that one, but you can take that one out too. And I've got builder mode on, that's why I keep smashing the shit out of these. And then just go ahead and work this back in. So you have 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3, and you're back to center. And if you continue this out 2 more blocks, and then just work it around, that's what would make your circle. And I'm blowing the fuck out of everything. So anyways, you do the other side the same way. And like I said, I have builder on, so it does help me do this. If you're doing this without builder or any kind of mods, it's a little trickier to do. You have to float in the water and all kinds of shit like that, but you'll get it. Alright, so there's the first one. That's your radius of 9. Alright, so we know that the next one is a 13. So we come out 2 blocks and stop. And then this side, same thing. 2 blocks and stop. So the next one, there's your 7, 9, 11, 13. So now we're going to build a 13. Alright, so the 13 starts the same way. It's 5 blocks on the flat side. And then you've got 1, 2, 3. And this block will cover over top this block. And then if you're looking at the pattern, there's 2 blocks right here. And then the next one comes out here before it comes back. Now if you count 1, 2, 3, your radius has moved. And it should be forward 1 block right here. But like I said, don't worry about, you know, where it ends up here. The only thing we're worried about is the actual radius of each one. Where each block lands this way, it's just going to keep moving out 1 as you go up. So let's build the other side. And there's the next one. Okay, so we know the next one is a 15 and it's going out and not up. And if we look at the other pattern over here, it's showing 4 blocks that we'll have to fill in. So we'll come back over here. Let me land. And those 4 blocks are going to be right in here. So you're going to have 2 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And that'll just kind of set up the radius for the 17. So we'll go to the other side and do the same thing. 1 here, 2 here, and 1 here. Okay, the 17. 2 here, 2 there. A little L-shaped pattern. And then 2 here. These 2 are the same as these 2 over here. So it connects to the middle of these 3 or these 5 blocks, which would be the ones that I'm standing on. So now we do the other side. And there's that one. Alright, the 19 starts a 7 block pattern. So you're going to have 3 blocks here, and then 3 on the other side, and 1 in the middle. So instead of having 5 blocks, now you're going to have 2 extra blocks. And then if you look at the pattern, you've got 3, 2, 2, 3. And as you see, it covered them holes up. And now do the other side. And there it is. And as many times as I've done this, you can see I've still, break a little brick here and there. It still gets confusing. But anyways, let's move to the next one. And the next one is a 21. Again, it'll be 7 blocks up here, but you're only putting 3. And then 2, 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to find these 2 blocks again. 1, 2. Now you see there's a gap here. Now this is where the front of the boat starts moving forward. So you put that block in and do the other side. Alright, after the 21, it's going to be repeated again. So you just build the same pattern again. And there's your 2 blocks. And then just put this one here. And build the next side. Now you're going to build 2 sets of 23s to get to this height right here. Now, once you reach this height here, you're now to the width of the ship. If you're following the tutorial, you're on a 25. So we're going to build 25s all the way up to here and just keep moving them out 1 block. Now when you get out here, remember this is the outside part of your radius. The ship's going to continue to move forward, so just connect these out as you move up. Just keep sliding these out. So now your ship is almost complete. The only thing left are the sails and the masts and this front beam, and everything else around it is really easy, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because we're already pushing up on 30 minutes on this video. So I'm just going to go over some quick dimensions. This front beam is 21 blocks, and all I did was I came back 1 block and set up this little structure here. And then the front sails, let's go to the mast first. Each mast was where I had it set up before. I didn't move it. You can adjust these a little bit as you want. The main height is 40 blocks on this one here. It's 50 blocks on that one there, and then another 40 on the back. And you watch, as you see, because I'm above the water, I cut off on the clouds and I don't have 2 blocks on top on the back one. So if you set this down in the water, you should be fine. As far as the mast part going out this way, the only thing I did was just make sure that it hangs over your ship a little bit, and on the front one is 20 blocks. It's 41 blocks total, 20 on each side, and that goes the same for the back one. And then the middle one is 49 blocks, 24 on each side of the main post. And I come up 11 blocks to right here. You can go 10 or 12 or whatever. I wouldn't go too much higher or too much lower. That looks pretty good where that's at. And then the other ones run into the fucking sign. Hold the same pattern, 3 blocks, 4 blocks high. And then outline the ship in single blocks like this right here. And put some fence posts on top. And then I left a gap right here of 5 blocks between. You can go 7 or whatever, and then drop some ladders down the side. Put a plank right here. I went ahead and finished the back side. I went ahead and closed all this in, and just knocked out some quick windows. You can customize this back however you want. Underneath, you can just trim that out. All I did was basically just come in one block on each side and come down, and just made sure I held off one block, and it makes like a nice triangle piece back here, and just keep moving in one block each time you go down. So if this was already here, just come in another block and stop one block short, and then the next layer you come in here and just keep building this out. You can do whatever you want back here, or put some more windows, whatever makes you happy. Alright, for the sails, that's kind of a personal preference type thing, just whatever looks good. I went up 6 blocks, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just do the same at the top, or you can make it a little bit different. You can put more at the bottom and curve it a little bit different. You can make it really poofy like this one here, or you can make it kind of close to the mast like this. As well, the connection points, I just come in one block here, and same thing up there, and then I put one here and one here, and that kind of ties it off and makes it look like it's connected a little bit better. This front piece, I just a stair pattern all the way down to the front, and then just kind of loop it up like this right here, or make some kind of sharp design, whatever you want to do. And then all you have to do is just fill it in and put your skull on it. And then as far as the back, the little back flag, you can just make it a little bit longer, or whatever makes you happy. That's why I said this boat is fully customizable. You can do whatever you want at this point, because now it's pretty much done. Go in here, like so. This could be the the master cabin here. You can cut down, make some floors down to the next ones. Same thing here. You can put a second floor in. And I know I'm hurrying a little bit now, but like I said, I've run into almost 30 minutes on this video, and I didn't really want to go that far. But you can drop down to the whoa, fucking shit. Got in a big hurry and fell right through the floor. This back piece, obviously you can't cut through like I just damn did. But here you can, and you can cut some stairs down to your second floors, your third floors. Remember, here's your floor, there's a floor, there's a floor. And you can come back here and cut out some more windows. You can put in cannons. I use dispensers on my server, on my boat, and it actually fires snowballs. So make sure you check out episode 16 of my Play with Thunder series, and you can see where I've got them all automated. I throw one switch and they fire snowballs out of all my cannons, and then I have some mounted on the deck too, which is really fucking cool. So make sure you check that out. Anyways, that pretty much concludes the pirate ship, or any ship. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. It's been fun. And remember, rate, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.